that purse has spikes, and it's sort of like it acts as a secondary weapon. That's what this is. These spikes. You're ready. You're presenting yourself. You're femme. You're very into. Hello there. Welcome to the cocoon. How are you today? Yes, yes. Come on in. Come on in. Everything is gonna be a-okay. I assume this is your first time in the cocoon. Oh, of course, of course. I'll guide you through everything. Everything will be totally fine. Honestly, it's the best place for any caterpillar to be in. So, what is the cocoon, right? You built it, but you don't really know. Think of it like Narnia. You build your cocoon, you enter, and this metamorphosis that you're going through is really just a portal. And you come to us here in the cocoon, and we get to make you whatever you want to be in terms of a butterfly. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of butterflies, a lot of different kinds of things. We'll go through it. We'll have to go through everything, of course. But we're going to have to first get some information about you because we get a lot of caterpillars in here. And, I would love to know each one by name. But it's just like not realistic. Because we're really swamped, what with the economy and everything, it's been a little bit difficult for us to, we have like a sort of a skeleton crew that's working right now. We want to get more people, but unfortunately, the higher ups just don't want to do that. If you can work with the skeleton crew, then why get more people? Regardless, let's get some information, shall we? So. Get some info here. How about we start with you telling me what name you would like to go by now. Okay? Okay. That's perfect. All good. And where do you reside generally? Okay, that's pretty good, Okay, and we know that you have your assigned gender at Caterpillar. So what I would like is for you to, do you want to change your gender? Do you want to stay the same gender? What is it that you would like? Okay. That's good. Yeah, when you caterpillar, they do end up choosing a gender for you, and sometimes it's a little unfortunate because it's not really what you want, right? Next, I would like to sort of discuss potential species, subspecies, in terms of butterflies. So I know you're aware of butterflies. We can make you into any species or subspecies, but what we can't do is if someone was watching you or if you're under sort of scientific observation, it will really blow our cover. So it would really benefit us if we can know. This is sort of like a terms and conditions, right? Like, can we track your location to see what's around you and whatnot? Okay. Perfect. And once we're done here, you're going to get a survey. That survey is totally not necessary, but I will be fired if you don't complete it. Just please fill it out at your earliest convenience. Really, like, you don't have to worry too much about it. Like I said, I will be fired if you don't complete it or if you don't give me 5 stars, but such is the way of life. So once you get that, I do want to recommend that you do fill out the survey. And if you have any gripes about the process, you can, of course, ask me and we can deal with it. But if you're too shy or anxious, and then you put it into the review, then you are affecting my livelihood. So I just wanted to mention that, sometimes things like this creates a little bit of a rift, right? And I really don't want a rift to come between us and whatnot. So Okay. All right, so now that we've got all the basic information, yeah, I didn't ask about your age because your age doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter how long you've been a caterpillar. It really just matters when you started to become a butterfly. Yes, we are very open and honest about like everything that is going on in the cocoon, but we are we do have prejudice against the uglies, and caterpillars are the uglies. So unless they come here and they get anybody that dies before they become a caterpillar, before they become a butterfly, of course, is not to be associated with us, of course. So long as you don't have any relatives that were caterpillars their entire life, never became butterflies, chose not to become butterflies. I mean, I know that there's this whole movement about like stay a caterpillar, stay yourself. But really, I don't think that's necessary, because the point of being a butterfly is to express yourself however you want. So who would want to express themselves like a caterpillar? I mean, that's just bizarre. But anyway, let's start here. Let's see. Do I have my pointer? I do. Okay. So here we've got many different shapes of butterfly wings. This is the thing that we're really going to be focusing on because you can be whatever you want. So we'll just go through, I'll give you my recommendations, but you can of course pick any of these for yourself, right? So let's just get started. We'll start over, how about let's start down here? Let's change it up a little bit. Sometimes I like to change things up. So let's start over here. This is the pyramid. This is the pyramid-shaped caterpillar. It's very good, very sturdy, very earth sign. But unfortunately, I would say that in terms of the people that end up getting it, the butterflies that end up getting it, they end up being the most... I don't want to say the most toxic, but because they're so stable, they end up being loners, and they end up driving a lot of the people away, If there's 3 points in a triangle, and this top point is as sharp as a knife. Like, that's sort of the vibe that really comes out, right? So over here, this one is very different. This one is an upside down triangle, as you can see, and the reason why you would choose this one is if you're very self-deprecating, if you're very, stab yourself, show like a different side of you to your friends and family. You're like, oh, you're bubbly, you're happy in front of everybody, but really you're dying inside. This is the shape for you. Think of the same thing where the tip ends up having like the sharpest edge. The sharpest edge is pointed inward. This is pointed outward and this is pointed inward. And subsequently, because of the flat top, you give off the vibe to other butterflies that you are, you give off the vibe like you need them, right? Like you're very needy. Which, might not be the best in terms of what you would want, but you would be surprised, everybody needs to have a flaw. And if you choose the flaw outright, you can be aware of it. And there's something to be said about being aware of your flaws and just owning it, right? So this one over here, this is the block butterfly wing. And what I want to say about this block one is that this is sort of like the avant-garde butterfly wing. This is the new age. A lot of younger people end up choosing this one, mostly because they feel like they want to break out of the system. They want to break out of the typical butterfly wing propaganda. And what I have to say to them is that your ancestors came before you, and your ancestors they may have killed, they may have performed genocides, they may have done a lot of evil things, but you still have to respect them. They just because they were awful people doesn't mean that you can think that they're awful. So this one. Next we have this one. This one is a little bit interesting, right? So This is a typical butterfly wing, but it has small little spikes at the bottom. Now, what this is okay. Bear with me here, because some people don't really understand. But if you have a purse, that purse has spikes, and it's sort of like it acts as a secondary weapon. That's what this is. These spikes, you're ready. You're presenting yourself. You're femme. You're very into the performance of femininity and very like high femme, if you understand what I mean. But these spikes says you have an edge. You can protect yourself. You understand that the world is cruel, and you're ready to stab someone if need be. And it's very endearing. A lot of people find it endearing. A lot of people find it. You end up having a lot of friends, but no one ever gets super close to you because they're a little bit worried that you'll stab them. And that's, a valid fear. Most butterflies don't end up having a way to stab people, like literally. But it's sort of an extra measure, right? Like you don't want, you want to feel safe, right? This is the equivalent of like a drag queen that owns a gun, right? There's a dichotomy there that, sometimes makes sense, sometimes it doesn't really make sense. But you do you. So we've got the heart shape, and we've got the broken heart shape. The heart shape is for the lovebirds, for the people that wear the heart on their sleeve. They love Valentine's Day. They love to go out. They love romance. They love sex. They love everything to do with like finding a partner or even like multiple partners. This could be like the polyamorous shape as well, where if you want to have multiple partners, it's very much a signal of I'm looking and I'm it, right? Like you want me, I want you. Let's go. This one, of course. So this one is a bit interesting because most caterpillars who end up becoming butterflies, they bloom later in life, right? So a lot of their dating. So this one, the heart shaped one, is very popular because a lot of new butterflies want to be sort of the new it girl, the new it guy, the new the new man around town, whatever. But most don't really want to be this like heartbroken shape. It's very interesting, unless they've been heartbroken while being a caterpillar, right? When you're a caterpillar, you're very vulnerable, and when you're very vulnerable like that, you end up in a relationship, and that relationship goes south, as they always do. It's like, why get into a relationship when you're that young? But it ends up, you become emo, you become very, grunge. You're very, very, not great, in terms of emotionally, but like, some emo people, some, goth, people, they're very, very, very sweet people, very friendly, and it's all like an aesthetic and style, but it's all born from this, right? It's all. Are you okay? Are you okay, sir? Okay, just double checking. He lives here in the cocoon with us. He's sort of like a bodyguard. Sometimes the caterpillars, when they become butterflies, they don't like what they look like afterwards, and we try to help them as best we can, but they end up disliking it so much that we kind of have to have some sort of security and whatnot. It's really for our benefit and for yours. So as I was saying, this particular butterfly shape is very, very, there's a culture around it now. So if you're going into it, you're going into a culture, and you really need to be in it 100%. The goth culture, the emo culture, screamo, And these are all disparate. They're all like scene, right? Like the age-old scene kid. Like that's, and they're all disparate, but they're kind of connected, right? And this is the unifying factor here. So if we move on to the second part, we have a few more. Let's just get started with this one. This is, as you might think, this is the child's version of a butterfly. Very simple, very, very calm and collected. This is the mom friend. This is the friend that you just want to hug. You want to support, but you also you kind of need as your emotional support. And this particular butterfly is never going to tell you how they feel. It's never going to confide in you, and you're always going to wonder, what's going on? Like, why are you, like I feel like I confess my entire life story and feelings to you, and you don't reciprocate. You're just like a wall, but you're just so soft. That's this butterfly. And some people need that. Some people don't need. Sometimes someone could be your best butterfly, but you don't have to be their best butterfly. And this is the embodiment of your best butterfly, but you're not their best butterfly. So if you want to be that kind of butterfly, then you need to choose this butterfly. I'm sure you at this point completely understand what I'm saying. So I'm just going to move on from that. Then there's this one. This one's for the how do I explain this? So imagine you're a man, and imagine you're really into anime. This is for those people. They're for the people that love Dragon Ball Z, love Super Saiyan, like the Super Saiyan mode, love to Kamehameha and whatever, what have you. This is that kind of butterfly, But that's where it originated. That's not where it is now. It's popular. Crazy. Now this is like the spiky-haired boy, the bad boy next door sort of type of butterfly. So if you really want to embody that kind of butterfly, this would totally be a good one for you. And I really can't get a vibe from you as to what you're gonna go for, so I'm just going with everything. And just let me know when you're done. Because I really don't want to be fired. And then right down over here, this is the depressed butterfly. So unlike this one over here, this one, where is it? This one is depressed just because of a chemical imbalance. Nothing happened to them. There's no trauma. They haven't gone through anything difficult in their life, really. They're becoming a butterfly, but they're really obsessed with being the saddest one in the bunch, and they're not trying to perform it. They just are, they're trying to be happy. They have this like set of smooth, it's rounded, it's unlike most, like this one is sharp and pointy. But this one is definitely, they're trying to perform, the look of happiness and a happy butterfly, but they just can't seem to get it. On the other hand, this is the optimistic butterfly. This is the butterfly that's like, you know what? Life is good. This is the 1%. This is for the people that aren't in poverty, for the butterflies that aren't in poverty, the butterflies that don't have to work in bars, the butterflies that don't have to work food service, and they don't have to work, they don't have to drive trucks. They're the ones that live at home, don't do anything, and just have investments that keep going up. And because of, but it's not really their investments, it's their parents' investments. And those investments, of course, are not really theirs until they're 18 years old. And once they're 18 years old, of course, should they really, feel guilty for having so much money if their parents gave it to them? I mean, like, it's, everybody should have at least like $3 million inherited from their parents when they turn 18, of course. And this is that kind of butterfly. And then over here, we have This one is sort of like it's very electric. It's an electric butterfly. It's very magnanimous. This is one where you're going to be, you can kind of see the shape right there. You're going to be spinning, zapping around everywhere. You're very hyper. You are sort of you're the hyperactive kid that just never grew out of it. It was cute when you were young, but it's not so much anymore. And these are all the vibes, of course, depending on the colors that you end up choosing and the pattern you end up choosing. It is going to be a little bit different, and you can alter the vibe of each one. And of course, we can edit in terms of different wings and different stuff. You could have like one half be a different wing and the other half be something else. It affects the aerodynamics of it all, but it's really not that much. It's like getting resin dye, right? Dice that are made of resin are not perfectly weighted, but it's so minor that it doesn't really matter. So the last one that we have is, of course, the plain shape. It's newfangled. It's new. It's for people that have a hyperfixation or just are really into planes. You can also modify this to be many different kinds of things. They could be trains, cars. Any form of like transportation. It could also be something different, right? Like it could be light bulbs. It could be different kinds of tables. It's really just like if you really love a particular object, and the make and model of like a specific object, and you love learning about it. This is like for Lego kids. This is for people who really love Legos as well. All of these are different like little modules that can come off and on, and so you can really mix and match your butterfly wings. So okay, so which one do you think you would choose here? Do you want to choose this one? Do you want to choose this one, the self-deprecating one? Do you want to choose the stab a bitch one? Do you want to choose the heartbreak one? What about over here? Do you want to choose the nice modular one that looks like a plane? Do you want to be a bad boy? What do you need? What do you need? Okay, that sounds great, actually. I'll write that down, and then we'll move on to the next step. So, okay. Did you want to do a little combo of either one? Okay, that's totally fine. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. So, you're going to have to choose colors and patterns here because of our limited options. We show you examples, but because not our limited options, but because the options end up being very vast, we give you sort of examples, and then you can mix and match to how you please. Okay, so if we look right here, you can see we've got a few options. And I'll just go through them really quickly just so that you understand what is going on. In terms of colors, these are sort of the color schemes that we have. We've got sort of a nice blue and darker blue. We've got a purple, sorry, not purple, just a simple light blue. We've got red and purple right here. We've got brown and darker brown, or we've got yellow, red, oranges, and reds right here. So, you can always mix and match. You can do complementary colors, analogous colors. You could do really anything that you would like, but I would caution against going against the grain here, mainly because sometimes, okay, if you ever play a video game and you're in a sea of non-player characters, and then you can see the player character and they look crazy. If you go too crazy with the colors, you can really stand out. But maybe that's something that you want, right? Like maybe you want to look like you were custom made by like a 5-year-old, So let's just go through the options here. This is sort of a polka dot pattern right here. I would say this is really good if you want to sort of blend into a lot of your environment, if you want to just sort of trick the eye, and it'll give you a sense of mystique. So that would be a good one there. This is if you really wanted, if you had a favorite animal, say that you wanted to be reincarnated, but you unfortunately were reincarnated as a caterpillar, which, you know, yuck for caterpillars, yay for butterflies. You know, you're a butterfly now. But I would say that this would be one where if you wanted to get the silhouette of whatever animal that you wanted, sort of as the pattern on your wings, that way people can know, like, oh, that is like, well, that's gonna be a lion in the next life, you know? You can also do this one. This one's pretty light. I don't know if you can see that very properly, but it is a sort of light green with sort of an homage to grass. This is, you know, there's a couple meanings for this one that you could really infer. You could say that you love nature, you sort of want to be like a fairy more than a butterfly, or it could mean that you really, really, really like to smoke, and you really, really like weed. So, and then you've got this one right here. This is for the fancy girlies. This is for people who will like the fancy stuff. You know, sort of like they have beige homes, filled with like, you know, beige walls, gold chandeliers, you know, a grand piano that no one knows how to play. This is the sort of color scheme and what am I saying? And design that really is for that. Now this one over here, this is if you want to be a fly on the wall. You know, if you want to be a wallpaper, you want to blend in someone's home so that you could see all the fun stuff that they get to do. I think this would be a really good one. You know, very. It's also really good if you wanted to be. I'm not even sure, like if you wanted to be like an investigator, if you wanted to like sneak into people's homes and like, you know, stand against the wall and blend in really properly, this is the one to go with. And then this one over here, this has little cloud motifs on it. I'm not sure if you can see that properly. However, the cloud motifs is just, you want to be free, right? You want to be free of oppression. You want to be free of the shackles of humanity. And you are, because you're a butterfly. And so you get to roam free in the clouds in the sky, and you don't have to worry too much about it. So, in regards to all of this, are you done? Are you done, sir? You know, sometimes they really want attention. You know, it's the way that things work around here when you have security cats. I mean, anyway, which one would you prefer? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6? Okay, that's actually a really good combination that you had right there. Let me just write that down so that I don't forget. Okay. Okay. That's wonderful. So I just need you to get in line over there. And we'll call you when your time is ready, and you'll be able to, you know, go in, get all of the procedures done, and come out a beautiful butterfly, and you'll never regret being a butterfly ever again, you know, and you will look on your days of being a caterpillar and think, oh my God, what was I doing? So I hope you have a good one, and please, 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 no rush and no pressure, but please do the survey.